I had always believed that marriage was a partnership, a mutual journey built on trust, respect, and shared dreams. My wife, Mariam, and I have been together for nearly a decade, navigating life's ups and downs with what I thought was understanding and commitment. But one ordinary evening, everything I thought I knew about our marriage came crashing down. It started subtly. Over the past few months, Mariam had grown distant. Conversations that were once warm and engaging became curt and dismissive. She spent more time on her phone, laughed at jokes that seemed private, and occasionally slipped into moments of unexplained sadness or irritation. At first, I dismissed it as stress from work or fatigue. I thought I understood her, but I had no idea how profoundly wrong I was. The moment of truth came one Friday night. We were sitting in the living room after dinner, the air heavy with tension I could no longer ignore. I asked her directly, gently but firmly, what was bothering her. She looked at me, her expression unreadable, and after a long pause, she said words that would shatter the foundation of our life together. I found what I needed. Elsewhere, she admitted calmly, almost matter dash of dash factly dot for a moment. The room seemed to tilt, the floor beneath me giving way. My heart thudded painfully as I tried to process the magnitude of her confession. Elsewhere? I asked cautiously, struggling to keep my voice steady. What do you mean? She sighed, a long, measured exhale that carried both frustration and resignation. I've been looking for fulfillment, attention, and connection. And I realized I wasn't getting it from you. I found it somewhere else. I'm sorry, but I can't stay pretending anymore. I felt a cold wave of betrayal wash over me. The person I had loved, trusted, and built a life with had chosen to seek fulfillment outside our marriage. Not out of accident or momentary weakness, but deliberately, consciously, and without regard for the promises we had made. Her words were calm, but the emotional wound they inflicted was anything but. I sat silently for a moment, letting the shock settle. I could feel a mixture of anger, hurt, and disbelief boiling inside me. Part of me wanted to argue, to beg, to plead, but I realized that would accomplish nothing. The betrayal had already been committed, and negotiation was futile. The integrity of our marriage had been irreparably damaged. Finally, I spoke. My voice was calm, measured, and firm. If you found what you needed elsewhere, then you don't need to stay here. I'm asking you to leave. Her face showed surprise, perhaps even a flicker of indignation. She had expected resistance, pleading, or attempts at compromise. Instead, she was met with calm decisiveness, a refusal to be manipulated or dragged into emotional games. Leave? She echoed, her voice shaky but defensive. Yes, I said. If your priorities lie elsewhere, then this house is no longer the place for you. I will not live in the shadow of betrayal. Gather your things and go. Consider this the door. Mariam's reaction was a mixture of disbelief, anger, and desperation. She attempted to rationalize, to plead for time, to frame her actions as a necessary pursuit of happiness. But I remained resolute. Betrayal, once confessed, requires consequences. Her pursuit of fulfillment outside our marriage was a clear breach of trust, and it could not be ignored or excused. Over the next few hours, she packed her belongings. I maintained my composure, overseeing the process without argument or confrontation. It was a somber, heavy experience, but I understood that the clarity of boundaries and the enforcement of consequences were necessary to reclaim control over my life and my emotional well-being. Friends and family were shocked when they learned the truth. Mariam had always been composed, charismatic, and seemingly loyal. The revelation of her betrayal and the decisive response it provoked appended the narrative they had known. But the truth needed no embellishment. The evidence was in her own words and actions. In the weeks that followed, I grappled with the emotional aftermath. The sense of loss was profound, not only for the life we had shared, but for the trust that had been destroyed. Yet, amid the grief, there was also clarity. I had enforced boundaries, reclaimed my agency, and refused to allow betrayal to define my life. Mariam's actions had consequences, and those consequences were immediate and undeniable. The experience taught me several lessons about trust, boundaries, and self-respect. First, betrayal is not merely an emotional wound. It is a breach of the implicit contract that binds a marriage. Second, confronting betrayal requires composure, decisiveness, and clarity. Anger and emotional outbursts may satisfy temporary impulses, but they do not address the root of the problem. Third, enforcing consequences calmly and firmly is essential for reclaiming personal integrity. Mariam's departure was a turning point, a moment of reckoning that forced me to reassess the foundations of my life, the people I trusted, and the standards I required in relationships. It was painful, yes, but it was also empowering. By showing her the door, I demonstrated that betrayal carries consequences and that self-respect cannot be compromised. For the comfort of others' choices, over time, I rebuilt routines, reestablished emotional stability, and reflected on the dynamics that had led to this situation. The betrayal was not just a momentary lapse. It was the culmination of unspoken resentments, unmet expectations, and conscious choices. Recognizing this allowed me to approach the aftermath with understanding. Even if forgiveness was impossible, I also realized that betrayal, once acknowledged, must be confronted with action rather than indulgence. Mariam's calm confession could have been met with negotiation, pleading, or emotional manipulation, but instead, it was met with clarity and firm boundaries. That decisiveness was crucial. It prevented further manipulation and established the parameters for accountability. As the weeks turned into months, I discovered resilience I hadn't known I possessed. The emotional pain of betrayal gradually gave way to reflection, self-awareness, and a renewed commitment to integrity in all relationships. I learned to value honesty, accountability, and the courage to act decisively when trust is violated. Mariam's decision to seek fulfillment elsewhere, though devastating, ultimately became a catalyst for clarity and growth. Her betrayal revealed not only her priorities, but also the importance of enforcing personal boundaries. By refusing to tolerate duplicity and by showing her the door, I reclaimed the agency that had been threatened and ensured that betrayal could not dictate the terms of my life. In retrospect, the incident remains a stark reminder of the fragility of trust and the importance of decisive action in the face of betrayal. Marriage is a partnership, and when one partner abandons the commitment without regard, the other must act to preserve self-respect, dignity, and emotional well-being. The memory of that night, the confession, the calm enforcement of boundaries, and the finality of the door remains vivid. It serves as a testament to the power of clarity, integrity, and decisive action in confronting betrayal. Betrayal may be devastating, but responding with composure and assertiveness ensures that it does not define the rest of one's life. Ultimately, Mariam's departure was not just the end of a relationship, it was a declaration of personal standards, a reclamation of dignity, and a lesson in the enduring importance of trust, accountability, and self-respect. Betrayal can shake the foundations of life, but it cannot break the resolve of someone who chooses to act with clarity, purpose, and integrity.